In this video, I want to talk about everyday wellness, and in particular, I'm going to be talking about local within a situated context and in comparison to local in consistent everyday contexts. And in particularly, I want to focus on how local in these everyday experiences, particularly where we find ourselves where we are most throughout the day and throughout the course of several days. It could be your room, could be a living space, it could be a particular table at a school hallway or a foyer somewhere, or a workplace. Maybe it's the break room or some other area that you like to go to, or you find yourself spending a lot of time in. This is more of a consistent place, and it has to do more with this habitual, consistent process, while situated contexts can sometimes be adjacent to that within a local domain. But just before I get into that, just to quickly define and go over what local is again. Local involves being in the here and now, and also in regards to what's immediate. This can be related to our direct precepts, what we're processing within our senses, our direct perceptions of self, as well as future thinking. And that involves also these direct perceptions of self. And it can be, for example, say you're en route to go somewhere. It can be what you're doing right now in relation to the destination that you're going, and thinking about how you're going to get there, and also the whole process, and very much every aspect of that process that's involved in getting from location A to location B. That forms local and the relevance of local processing. And that's occurring in proximity to the self that has a near and far component as well. And local very much encompasses all these. And it can also, it doesn't necessarily have to be direct to the physical environment. As I'm recording this, I'm operating within a local apparatus, and I'm going to post this online, which is a virtual space, and I'm directing my processes within an understanding of local that is extending beyond what's just right here in front of me and throughout the world on virtual platforms through this recording, right? This virtual recording. So local can be extended globally through these cybernetic interactions or virtual spaces. It can pertain to imagination. It can pertain to the obviously here the virtual world, or various abstract spaces. When we're, if you're drawing a map, or you're starting to plan out or stage something in terms of its object's position in space, or your position to that in an abstract space, that's occurring also within the local. So long as you're here now and present, and you're more focused and absorbed and engaged in the task and matter at hand, that is connection directly to the local. And so local can pertain to a variety of situated contexts, as well as more consistent or stable contexts that we routinely encounter, or we encounter on a near day-to-day basis. Whereas in situated contexts, this is often where we're integrating things that are distinct, new, or different, or going to places that we don't frequent too much, or in particular cases in which involve certain situations that aren't necessarily as consistent, but there can be consistent situations that we encounter typically. And this is going to be very important, because this is where a lot of everyday wellness and a deeper understanding of local becomes highly beneficial, is understanding the situations in which our particular behaviors and interactions within the local domain have a positive impact on our subsequent perceptions, motivations, emotions, feelings, actions, and behaviors, as well as our interpretation of meaning with regards to the self and the surroundings, this immediate, and being able to cultivate more of this meaningful processing that has a meaning-laden, various meaning-laden characteristics, imbuing meaning within our perceptions, motivations, actions, behaviors, and feelings, and that support and optimize our direction towards more positive living well, and ultimately fostering a greater sense of physical and psychological well-being through engagement, through facilitating interest in these psychologically stimulating experiences that release and regulate a variety of hormones in the body, all our neurochemistry, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, glutamate, GABA, acetylcholine, as well as brain-derived neurotropic factor, nerve growth factor, all these things I've talked about here, and also regulate some of those psychologically distressing hormones and vital for also optimal well-being and healthy living. Cortisol and various catecholamines that have an impact on our immune function and how we respond to challenges or stressors in the environment in particular. And understanding how local operates within in consistent environments compared to situated environments can help us develop a greater environmental mastery of the places that we typically inhabit, and we develop habits in relation to, as well as these various behavioral, perceptual, motivational, emotional, feeling-based apparatuses that we can use within our repertoire of adaptable skills and knowledge as resources to be able to improve our lives. So the places that we inhabit on a day-to-day basis, such as a room, we might want to consider how that impacts our well-being. Maybe it has, like, for example, a big one has to do with organization, and the degree of organization or clutter in a room can impact the levels of psychological distress or negative and positive perceptions, motivations, emotions, feelings, or actions an individual will experience or express. And when we start to operate more flexibly, and we encounter more of these situated contexts, oftentimes when we return to what we've become habituated to within the environments that we consistently find ourselves in, we end up starting to see things differently, and it opens up our perceptions towards integrating more positives in there that build on positive emotions, feelings, perceptions, motivations, actions, and behaviors through integrating aspects of what's situated and what changes up the stimulation in our brain, allowing for new pathways to be formed internally between the situated context and the regular context that we become habituated to, and form these common pathways of association that eventually stagnate, but which broaden when we enter into these more situated contexts. And when we organize things, you can see that also occurring on a micro level through self-stimulated behavior, especially if the organization and planning is coming from you as the originator. Then say you're organizing your own room or you're cleaning your own room. When you're doing that, you start to categorize things and to change and to engage more in a deliberate top-down being a perception first influencing the percept and sensory apparatuses, rather than the other way around, from sense to percept to perception. That's going to change the way our brain's going to process that perceptual, psychological, and physiological activity associated with our relationship to the environment, and ultimately improve our capacities to learn, be more productive in life, and experience more of this optimal well-being in relation to expanding our environmental mastery that's occurring within this local context. And the degree in which we explore our environment, maybe you start walking around your home and you start taking new trails every so often. This is expanding your regular routine understanding of the world into more broader directions that build on it and advance learning through these situated contexts that you're encountering on a day-to-day, that in which the situated can actually become more integrated with the stable and consistent, and we can start to expand our perceptions, motivations, emotions, feelings, actions, and behaviors, as well as our meaning and what we find meaningful and in these broader directions through really integrating the situated contexts with the consistent contexts that are operating within this local domain of functioning in this case, considering where the habitats we inhabit, right, and our habits in relation to those habitats that we inhabit. So that's all I wanted to talk about for this video, so I hope you enjoyed.